last lesson we stopped off at understanding what exactly question number 3 is about, which is the last part of paper 1 for IGCSE First Language English. This is an extended writing response. We also understood that there's 6 genres of writing that we need to tackle, that we need to work on, right? So we understood the 5 words examiners keep using, so on and so forth. We stopped till here. Do you remember this? Yes? Afan, are you following? Better, I would need you to affirm. Okay. We are now going to start off with section 3, which is retrieval, inference, and development. These 3 words, basically, they separate a level 3 response from a level 5 one. Level 3 is obviously the lower one, level 5 is the higher one. But they're not different topics. They are 3 depths of the same idea, basically speaking. Now, the 3 depths, retrieval is repeating something the text states. It shows you to read the sentence, basically. How exactly are you going to be able to retrieve an information from the sentence? Get information from a sentence. Inference is working out what the detail suggests. Inference is pretty simple. It's basically clues given in the passage, and those clues come together to help you understand a certain something, to help you define a certain something, whatever is being suggested. So basically, it shows you understood the situation behind the sentence, reading in between the lines to the best of your ability. Then we have development. This is taking the idea one logical step onward. Now, development is when you already have a base point, but you build on it, basically, in a way that fits the character, the situation, and the purpose of your writing. It shows you can think from inside the text. So this is pretty simple, that your idea, your logic, each and everything, it is coming from the text. It's coming, the basis, it's the text itself, but then you are building on it. So I want you to understand this point very, very, very properly, this table given. The development is not an invention of your own making. Your logic, your idea has to come from the text itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see a worked example. Now suppose text C tells you the road up to the falls was frequently blocked by tourists who stopped to photograph the view. Now, retrieval, inference, development. Let's see. Any student who is at a level 2 or a level 3 would only work on retrieval. Retrieval is pretty flat. So let's see. A lot of tourists came and blocked the road because they were taking photographs of the view. It's simple. You've literally written the same idea, possibly in a few different words. You know what I'm saying, Afan? Do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have inference. Inference is a better understanding of the retrieval part. Now, in this case, we will be commenting on what is being suggested, what is being told us in between the lines. Let's see. The visitors were not traveling along the road so much as standing on it, basically. That's what they're telling us, because all of it was just blocked. They had come for the photograph, which is why the blockage always formed at the same bend, because all of them were mainly about this area. They were mainly about this particular view, and that's all mattered to them. They weren't just passing by this road, and that is why there was a blockage. So far, so good, beta?
Yeah.
Okay. And then to take it up a notch, we see development. How can we actually make it better? Now, this is something that you will be generally tested on when it comes to your question number 3, all right? Because at the end of it all, you need to refer back to text C. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So, because the queue always built up where the road narrowed, walkers stepped onto the verge to get past, and it was that constant stepping aside rather than the rain which wore the edges away. Nobody arrived intending to damage anything, and that is what makes the problem so difficult to solve with the sign. Do you see it better? Now, this is the thing. You got the initial idea, you got the base idea from the passage, but then you build up on it. Do you understand? So notice that the third version has not added a single fact. It has taken the given detail, asked why it mattered, and followed the consequence through. So this is exactly what we will be building on these skills in paper 1, question 3. Now, why do we lose marks? Reading marks, basically. We only lift phrases and sentences from text C instead of reshaping them. Even if we reshape, we get, what do you call it? We get points to some extent. Then listing relevant details without explaining why they matter. What is being suggested? That obviously docks the marks. Leaving one bullet thin or missing it altogether, we have to make sure that we balance it all out. We have to make sure that at the end of it all, each and every point is balanced properly as given by the examiner, because each and everything will be marked equally. All right? Misunderstanding would actually happen in the passage, obviously not being able to read properly, confusing the order of events, especially when writing with hindsight. So you have to make sure that while reading, you are not um, you're not in your mind, the organization of the events is not muddled. All right, only hindsight in this case simply means understanding or realizing something clearly, but only after it has already happened. Like, for example, you made a mistake already and then you realize you made a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Writing is the wrong person or slipping out of the role part way through. Remember, in this case, I'm reiterating on this point again that you have a role to play. So that's very important. Inventing events the text cannot support. Please do not do that. Your information needs to come from the text. Drifting into general opinion that has left text C behind. Ignoring clear opportunities to infer feeling or motive. Saying the same idea 3 times in different words. Are we good to go, beta, so far, Afan?
Yep.
Is there anything that does not make sense?
No.
So far, so good? Okay.
Yeah.
So, a useful habit would be write the detail, then write which meant or which is why, and finish the sentence. It forces development. Delete the connective afterwards so the sentence reads better without it, but that's a secondary thought. That's a secondary thing to do. But yes, at this point, this is what you need to understand better. I think when we'll work on this, this will make more sense. Okay? Now we have the 10 writing marks. Now remember, we were focusing on the reading marks initially. And what
Yeah.
is the total mark for this paper, for this question? Do you remember that?
Not exactly. 25.
25, right? Do you understand? 25. And how
Yeah.
much marks were dedicated to, what do you call it? Your reading.
15, I think.
Sorry?
15, I think.
15. Very good. So the 10 marks are now for writing, and now this is where we understand what exactly matters here. Now this is where beta SPAG comes in. Remember SPAG? I think it was another student who told me about it, but this is what it looks like. So it's spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So, so these 10 marks are for register mainly, expression, range of language, structure. Spelling, punctuation, grammar are not separately assessed anywhere, but they're obviously a part of this as well, which again mainly surprises most candidates. Reason being because they believe these 10 marks are only for this, which is not the case. In this case, your register comes in, which is basically whether you're writing in the formal manner, on the informal manner, semi formal perhaps as well. Range of language, meaning topic related vocabulary. Expression is fine or not according to the role playing. Structure of sentences and the organization of your paragraphing, so on and so forth. All of this comes in together. Does that make sense, better?
Yeah.
So this is obviously the highest level. This is the lowest level. Level 0 simply means whether you left a task undone or the task is simply not understood at all. The level 1 is 1 to 2 marks, level 2 is 3 to 4, then 5 to 6, 7 to 8, and 9 to 10. What would get you a 9 to 10 on 10 when it comes to writing? Register is effective for the audience and purpose. Afan, do you think you can tell me what we might understand when we say the word register?
To look through the text for clues.
Sorry?
To look through the text for clues.
Yes, very good. In the no, not clues. No, no, no. That's not where it is. No, no, no. Sorry. Could you try guessing it again, perhaps?
No, I'm blanking out.
Okay. So, register of writing means understanding your audience and writing according to your audience, right? So, for example, if you are speaking to a friend or to someone you are on friendly terms with, and maybe they're not that older than you as well, then that person you're going to speak to in informal terms, right? Informally. Does that make sense? Whereas if it's someone that, what do you call it? You are not on friendly terms with, you are in a more professional capacity with someone older than you, then obviously you will speak to them in more formal capacity, right? For that, there's rules to follow, and that is what we call the register of writing. Make sense? So the language sounds convincing and stays that way. Ideas are expressed firmly in a wide range of effective or interesting language. Structure and sequence are secure throughout. Does this make sense, Afan?
Yeah.
Good to go. Now, obviously, this is a bunch of words put together. They might make sense to you, they might not. But when you will go through a few model paragraphs, model answers, it will make more sense. But so far, are we good? Now, what exactly what the 10 marks reward? This is a small table given for that. And correct English is not purposeful English. Let's take a look at this. What is generic and what is purposeful? So basically, they're trying to tell you that correct English does not always mean that it was needed in context. Make sense? Afan, I hope you are able to hear me better.
Yeah, I got it.
Acha, the experience was very difficult but enjoyable. I will admit that there were moments when I questioned the wisdom of continuing, but those very difficulties made reaching the valley unforgettable. So the experience was very difficult but enjoyable is very generic. It's not specific, is it? Do you see that, Afan?
Yeah, I
Yes.
got it.
Whereas when we wrote the next paragraph or the next few lines, this is more specific in nature. I will admit that there were moments when I questioned the wisdom of continuing, but those very difficulties made reaching the valley unforgettable. Right? So let's take a look at this register, audience, voice, structure, vocabulary, sentences. So, register. The level of formality suits both the reader and the reason for writing. I just told you that, right? Then, audience, somebody specific is addressed and can tell what you want them to think or do. Voice. The character sounds like one person in one mood from first line to the last line. You are not supposed to deviate from your role playing persona that you have put on. All right? Structure. The order of material is a decision, not the order of text C, and each paragraph has one job. So, what do you think we mean by this? One job.
One main goal.
Sorry, repeat that again.
One main goal.
Yes.
To
One main
prove,
goal, but how so?
to prove a point.
So, basically speaking, the bullet points will be given as part of the question, right? We have to fixate upon them in terms of an individual paragraph for each. All right, beta? And then vocabulary, obviously, you need to use precise rather than decorative and wear it without strain. This simply means that your vocabulary needs to be topic related, it needs to be authentic, it needs to be appropriate. It is not supposed to be fancy or generic only. Does that make sense? For example, if I'm writing about a birthday party, you could use words for decoration. You could use words like cake, guests, party poppers, party games, so on and so forth. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
And then lastly, we have sentence structures. Now, tell me this because we haven't really worked on a grammar lesson so far, Afan. Do you have an idea and understanding of simple, compound, and complex sentences?
Uh, no, not really.
No idea?
No.
Do you know what a simple sentence is?
Yeah.
How? Can you just simply give me an example? No idea? देखो एक simple sentence is that sentence that you simply make by joining together one subject, verb, and an object. At times, an object is not needed, but it needs to be a complete thought for it to be a complete sentence or a simple sentence. Does that make sense, beta?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a simple sentence. Similarly, we follow certain rules for compound and certain rules for complex as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So far, so good? Are we good?
Yep.
Okay. Then the second, okay, what usually prevents 9 or 10 out of 10? The genre is signaled once, then abandoned. You do not keep on deteriorating on it, or you do not keep on making sure that you're sticking to that particular genre only. Register slips. For example, if it's a formal report, it goes into maybe an informal way of talking eventually. Again, that makes you lose marks. Long paragraphs that follow the passage in order. An opening that sets the scene instead of starting the task. Essay nahi karna, you're not writing a story. Ambitious vocabulary used slightly wrong. Fancy words used out of context. Sentence after sentence of the same shape. Keeping you end up using only either simple sentences or only either compound sentences or only complex sentences. Make sense?
Yep.
Are we good to go? Okay,
Yeah.
now we have a source text. Now, every task, plan, and model response in the rest of this guide is based on this passage below. It has been written for this guide in the manner of a paper 1 text C, a first person, largely factual account of how 400 words with a great deal left implied. Read it once for the situation and once for the feelings. Now, let's take a look at this. The path to Hollow Ridge. Denise Arrell describes a summer spent as a volunteer on a mountain footpath. Afan, I need you to read this paragraph by paragraph loudly, please, so that I can also correct you if you go wrong somewhere.
I had wanted a summer job in an air-conditioned shop where what I got was 9 weeks on Hollow Ridge, a mountain path so badly worn that trust, which manages it, had closed the upper section in March. My mother filled the application form. I signed it because arguing seemed like more effort than agreeing. We slept we slept 8 to a hut. Breakfast was 5:30 because by 9 the sun was on the open slope and the work there became impossible. On the first morning I was headed a mock talk
I was
and
handed a mattock. Okay.
shown a strip of hillside 40 meters long. Kanan, the warden in charge, said he expected it finished by Friday. I laughed. He did not.
Okay, hold on. Did you understand the first two paragraphs?
Yeah.
Do you understand what we mean by the word mattock?
Yep.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell me what it is?
It's basically a tool.
Yes, very good. Excellent. Well done. It's basically a tool. Good job. It's a tool for digging and stuff, right? Okay,
Yeah.
good enough. Please move on to paragraph 3.
What had ruined the ridge was not the weather, it was us. The path the path had once been a meter wide. Years of visitors stepping around one another at the narrow bend above the falls had widened it to 5, and the loose stone ran off downhill every time it rained. Coaches began arriving at the lower car park. in June, and Q for the photograph at the falls could hold 100 people. Nobody meant any harm. That was a difficult part.
Okay.
I
Anything at all that did not make sense here?
no.
Okay, go on then, please.
I hated the first fortnight. My hands blistered, then bled, then hardened. I telephoned home twice and mentioned none of it. In the third week, Seville, who had been building dry stone walls on the ridge for 30 years, took over our section. She did not explain much. She would set a stone, look at me, and lift it out again if I had not been watching properly. By the fifth week, I could choose a stone from the pile without picking it up twice. We were not the only ones there. A primary school walked up from the village in July with 200 saplings, and the youngest children carried one each. Cannon let them believe the whole slope depended on them, which in about 20 years it will.
Okay, hold on. Questions at all so far?
No.
Okie dokie. All right.
The
Go on then.
the upper section reopened on the last Saturday of August. I stood at the gate with a stack of leaflets, asking walkers to keep to the stone, and I watched 11 of the first 50 step it off it anyways. People asked whether it was worth it. I gave up summer and earned nothing, but I know how a path is made, and I cannot walk on one without reading it.
Okay. Good to go so far?
Yep.
Okay. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Read through this passage again, please, okay?
Okay.
Let me know when you want me to scroll down, okay?
Okay.
Just silent reading.
Can you scroll down, please?
All right, are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. So we move down to understand the question now. Here's a task built to the structure and level of an actual question that you will get in the exam paper or ones that you will come across in the past papers. But before we write anything, we are supposed to answer the five questions in this margin. You are Dennis. A friend of yours is thinking, so basically, you see now a fan? You are no longer a fan, right? Number
Yeah.
one, a friend of yours is thinking of applying to work on Hollow Ridge next summer and has asked your advice. Write a letter to your friend. In your letter, you should explain what the work on the ridge was really like. Number one, or the first bullet point. Number two, describe what you learned from the people you worked with. Number three, advise your friend on what to expect and say whether you would recommend it. This is where your opinion comes in. All right? Now, base your letter on what you've read in text C, but be careful to use your own words. Address each of the three bullet points. Write about 250 to 350 words. Up to 15 marks are available for the content of your answer and 15 for the quality of your writing. This is how you get a question in the paper. All right? Now, let me ask you first, what would be the register of your writing?
Their friend.
Okay, so what would be the register of your writing?